Okay, greetings and welcome to my video tutorial today for creating for you, the beach party scrapbooking workshop created by Close to My Heart. Thank you for joining me. Your support is always appreciated. Supplies you'll need to create this project or these projects, 3 layouts. Of course, you start with the kit. You need your paper trimmer. I always have my long bladed scissors and my fussy cutting scissors handy because you never know when you're going to need them. You'll want to have your usual adhesive for attaching your pieces together. I like to use the advanced tape glider, just works better for me. I also like to have some liquid glue handy. I also like to keep a couple of rolls of my foam tape handy, and I like to have some of the regular, which you can see here how thick it is, and then also some of the thin, and I will talk to you a little more in detail about that, but you can see the difference in the thicknesses of those two. They're the same width, all right, they're just one is thicker than the other. So the thick one is the regular, and then we've got the thin one. Okay, and the other thing I like to keep handy is my little duster. All right, I just love this little thing, and it's just for taking the sticky off of the back of stickers. All right, let's get started. First things first, take all of the goodness out of the package, and let's have a look at what's in here. Right, now of course you know that you're going to get some terrific instructions. Close to My Heart is second to none when it comes to their cutting guides and their directions. It's always full color, always lots of photos, very easy to follow. So we've got that. Set that over to the side. Then we have our embellishments, which are the beach party rubber shapes. Then if you don't have your photos handy or ready yet, all right, you can use the photo placeholders. Otherwise, you can just set these aside for another project. We've got our amazing sticker sheet, which I don't know if you noticed, there's a couple missing here. 4, I think, 5, 6. Oh my gosh. Okay. So hopefully I don't need these for the kit because I had to borrow them for another project. Then we have our pack of patterned not cardstock, our patterned paper. So we've got 2 sheets each of the beach party paper. So we've got this one. Then we've got the beach balls along with the red and white stripe. And then we've got the towels along with the swimming people. Okay, so that's the patterned paper that comes in here, and it's a full pack. Next we have our die cuts. So these are pieces that we will push out of the carrier sheet and then put them aside for when we're ready. And they are always clearly marked. You can see right here, this says project 1 here. Make sure you don't throw any of the pieces out until you've completed the project, because sometimes I've been surprised what I actually needed to use off this page. So we've got that one sheet. Then we've got a sheet of what looks like borders. Then we've got, oh, this looks like a very fun sheet. We've got some waves and some tags, seashells. These look like clouds. This is going to be a lot of fun. Then we have what is considered to be exclusive paper. So this is patterned paper that you always will find in the scrapbooking kits that you won't find anywhere else. And in this kit, you're going to get 1 sheet of this shortbread and white. I hope you can see that, the bubbles. And then 2 sheets of this amazing paper that looks like a sunburst. Okay, so there's 2 sheets of that. Now you always know that it's an exclusive paper by just turning it over, because the exclusive papers are always plain white on the back. There's no color, unlike the rest of our cardstock, which is colored on both sides. And that leaves me with the cardstock. So in this kit, we're getting a sheet of Bluebird, a sheet of Sundance, and 1, three sheets of proof. Okay, so now that we know everything that's in the kit, I'm just going to move all of this, and I want the pack of paper as well. I'm going to start by doing the cutting that's required. Now keep in mind that you have 3 layouts that you're going to be completing, and as I'm cutting out my pieces, I like to put everything in a pile so that I don't get anything mixed up. Okay, so first thing I'm going to look at is inside here. I'm going to go right to the directions. Okay, and I'm going to look at, just hang on a minute here, at the base pages. Okay, all right, so this one, we're going to be using the Sundance paper that looks like a basket weave, and we're using it for both sides. So I'm just going to take that right out of the mix here. I'll put this one on the end. Okay, so that's layout 1. For layout 1, this pile made. Then I'm going to look on to the next, sorry, I was just looking at words. The next project, and I can see that the back or the base of this one is the red and white striped paper for both sides. So I'm going to grab that. Okay, and I actually jumped over a layout. So the red and white stripes is for project 3. The Sundance is for project 1. And for project 2, we're going to use the Capri cardstock. So we need 2 of those. All right, so I've got these all ready to go in a pile in order. I've got 3 piles so that I can keep track, and I can add my cut pieces as I'm going along to the pile. And the base page gives me a place to store it all. Okay, so now we're back to page 2. Okay, and it's telling us here that we're going to need a little piece of the zip strip. All right, and that's the heart zip strip that comes on the people, the swimming people. So I'm just going to trim that off. Now these zip strips that we, close to my heart likes to call them that, are theoretically 1/2 inch, but I never just measure and trust, because sometimes they're a little less than half, sometimes they're a little more than half. So I always line it up so that I just barely can see the zip strip along my cutting edge before I actually cut. And the directions tell us we want a 2 3/4 inch piece. So that's 2 3/4. So setting the rest of it aside as an extra. Okay, and now if we look at our directions, you can see that underneath the zip strip it says 2H. So the letter is for the layout number. So it's layout 2, and the number is the layout number. The letter is which piece on that layout it is. Okay, so this is going in the layout 2 pile. All right, and now we're going to move along to our exclusive paper. Okay, now just a couple of things when we are doing our cutting. All right, always look for the scissors. See them right there. Okay, and right there. That always tells you where you're going to make the first cut. Always look down here to check the orientation of your paper. So when we're cutting, all right, we want to make sure that it's like this. And then we're going to cut, starting here, we're going to cut 1/4 inch off this left side. All right, so we start there. And I'm just going to turn this over to cut, just so it's not quite as awkward. And I'm going to set this aside. I may not need it, but I'm going to hang on to it. Okay, and then the next cut, we're going to cut 1/2 inch off of the top. Okay, so very, very important to watch the orientation of your paper as you're cutting. So 1/2 inch off the top. And then we're going to finish off with another 1/4 inch on the right side. Okay, so we've got 11.5 by 11.5 square. So I'm just going to trim that off on that side. And now we have an even piece of paper that's 11.5 square. Okay, and this one is labeled as 2A, so I'm going to put this into the second pile. And then I'm going to grab the second one, and we're going to just repeat that. So 1/4 inch off the left side, and I'm just flipping it over to cut, just because it's a little awkward to try and cut a 1/4 inch on the left side. Then we want to cut 1/2 inch off the top. Make sure you got your paper oriented correctly. And then we're going to finish with 1/4 inch on the right side. And you can see for these small measurements that I actually cut using the ruler on the right of my trimmer over here. All right, it's just a lot easier, less guessing, and it's not nearly as awkward to move your paper around. Okay, so that is number 2D, so that's going in the layout 2 pile as well, and we're done with that. Okay, now we're moving on to our patterned paper. So we want the people paper with the towels on the other side. Here's the towels, here's the people. All right, and now I want to check my orientation. So we can see that the towels are the front, the people, the swimming people are the back. So anytime we are going to be using the paper on the back side, up in here where the dimensions are, you'll see a little star. So we can see here that these two pieces are using the front because there's no star there. All right, so we have our paper oriented up and down like that. And then we're just going to follow our cut line. Here's our scissor right here. So that's our first cut at 5 inches. So we're just going to line that up at 5 inches and cut. Okay, and this is for layout 3. It's numbered 3B. And then the next cut is also at 5 inches. And it's also for layout 3. And what you have left is extra. Okay, now we're going to cut the same piece of paper again. Okay, now you'll notice this time these are reversed. So now the people in the water are the front and the towels are the back. Okay, so you can see that we're going to be using the people in the water for these two because there's no star, which means we're using the front. And our scissors is right here, so we're going to cut it 3 1/4 inches. 3 1/4. All right, this piece is extra. So just imagine what you can do with this or this. Okay, and then we want 2 pieces. Each one is going to be 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. They're both for layout 1. So now I'm going to turn this piece that I just cut at 3 1/4, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces at 3 1/4 inches going the other way. And that way I've got 2 that are square at 3 1/4 inches each, and they're for layout 1. Okay, and then this piece is extra. All right, back to our instructions. Now we want our second exclusive paper, which was the shortbread with the dots. Okay, so this one doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong way to have this turned. So I'm just going to put this in my trimmer, and I'm going to look for my scissors, which is right there, and I see that I'm going to cut again at 5 inches. And that is labeled 3A, so that's for layout 3. And then the next cut is also at 5 inches for layout 3. And then this piece is extra. All right, now we're moving on to cardstock, and we're going to start with our Sundance. Now you can see here that they have noted, when I say they, I mean close to my heart, that the front of the paper is the light, the back is considered the dark side, and you can see the star. So anywhere up here, if there's a star noted by the dimensions, we know we want the dark side. But I can see here there are no stars, so that means we were looking for the light side. And if you're having trouble telling which is which, I always just roll it over a little bit and then compare. And then it's easy to see which is the light side. So this is going in my trimmer. And we're looking for our scissors right here, and we're going to cut at 3 1/4 inches. Okay, and then we're going to turn that piece, and just grabbing my instructions here, and we want one piece that's cut at 4 1/4 and 2 pieces that are cut at 3 1/4. So one piece at 4 1/4 and 2 pieces at 3 1/4. Okay, and they are all for layout 2. This piece is extra. Now back to our directions, I can see that our next cut is going to be at 4 1/4 inches. Okay, this piece is extra. I'm left with my 4 1/4 piece. I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut one piece at 6 1/4 inches and one piece at 3 1/4 inches. And then this piece is extra. And both of those are also for layout 2. All right, we're moving right along here. Okay, our last page of cutting. Now we're on to Bluebird. Okay, so let's have a look and see, do we want dark or light? So for this one, dark is the front, light is the back. We can see the star there. And I'm looking here and I don't see any stars, so that means we're dealing with dark cardstock. So let's just roll this over and check. Okay, pretty easy to see, right, that this is the dark side. And then looking at our scissor, we want to cut at 4 1/2 inches. So this is all very straightforward, right? Don't forget to like this video once we're all done. Okay, now our next cuts, we're going to turn it the other way, and we're going to cut 2 pieces at 4 1/2. Okay, so there's 4 1/2, and here's 4 1/2 again. And they're nice square pieces, nice big square pieces. These are both for layout 1. This is an extra piece. And now, according to our guide, we're going to cut again at 4 1/2 inches. Okay, this piece is extra. And all we want to do is turn this and cut one more 4 1/2 inch square. This piece is extra. And that's for layout, let me look, layout 1. Okay, and our last sheet for cutting is our last sheet of Capri and our last sheet of paper. So that's awesome. Now we need to check and see for our paper color. So the light is the front, the dark is the back. So let's check, there's no stars there. So that means we're dealing with the light side. Okay, just double checking, we're good. And our scissors tell us we're going to make our first cut at 4¼ inches. 4¼ inches. Okay, and then we're going to turn that, and our directions tell us we want 2 squares that are 4¼ inches each. So I'm going to cut it 4¼ and then 4¼ again, and this piece is extra. Okay, so we have 2 nice squares, and these are both for layout 1. And our very last cut, okay, we're going to go back here, and we're going to cut another strip of 4¼ inches. This piece is extra, and we want one last square cut at 4¼ inches. Okay, this piece is extra, and this piece is for layout 1. Okay, that is it. Our cutting is over. Now what I want to do is set my directions aside for a few minutes and my paper trimmer. And I want to bring in my die cuts. Okay, now they're always clearly labeled, which, interestingly enough, this did not happen on this sheet. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Okay, well, we'll leave that one till the end. Isn't that odd? Because these are always labeled, just like this one is. That's just very weird. Okay, so normally this is how they come, with the project labeled right there. Okay, so anywhere that there's a place to pop things out, that's what I'm going to do. And I try and push front to back. And the reason for that is because if something tears a little bit, the tear will be on the back. Okay, now we also want to punch this out. And I have a feeling we will not be using this piece, but I'm not getting rid of it until the page is done. Okay, so I'm going to take these 2 things and put them on pile 1. And same for this. Okay, and then I'm going to punch these out. Like I said before, I have a pretty good feeling that we're not going to use this piece, but I never throw anything out till I'm done. And you know, everything on this page is for layout 1. So that's exactly where everything is going. And let's punch these out. Onto layout 1. All right. One more. Oh, got a fun little tab here. Okay, and now we are going to save this as well. I have a feeling that we're, oh yes, here we are. We're going to turn it over, and this will be an overlay of some sort. Okay, so that goes on the pile for project 1. Now this frame, I suspect we're not going to be using it, but you know what I always say, don't throw it out until you're done. I have just learned the hard way. Now I want to look at, okay, so layout 2 has all of these strips. So I'm going to say that this is for layout 2. Oh, it is on the back. Okay, that makes better sense because they're usually always labeled. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to start punching these out. Don't forget that you're seeing this as it really happens. All right, so I want you to have a really good feel for what it takes to actually complete one of these kits. And I'm really excited for you to see just how easy it is to create these pages and how finished and professional they look with very little effort on your part. Cut. That's one of the things that I love the most about Close to My Heart is how good they make us all look. I mean, really, let's be honest, it makes us look very talented. Whether we are or not, doesn't matter. Okay, getting there. So I have to say, when I first saw the catalog, the July to September catalog, I was a little leery about this paper pack. But once I started using it, I changed my tune entirely. I have made a lot of projects with this paper. I'm on my third pack of paper, not including this kit. So you just never know until you see it. And speaking of seeing it, just want to remind you about my virtual launch event, catalog launch event that's coming up on July 29th and 30th. That's 2022. Just in case you happen along and find this video in 2024 or 2025, it's happening in 2022. I will be doing a virtual catalog launch event. I'll be Zooming with a live stream into Facebook, and everything will be about the new core catalog, which goes live August 1st. I'm so excited about everything that's in this catalog. This really the cut did not go through all the way. So just take matters into our own hands here. It's not taking much to get it to cut the rest of the way through. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. All right. There we go. We're almost at the end of this one. So anyways, back to the core catalog launch. So I will be demoing all sorts of new product, and there is so much new product in this catalog. All right, now I'm just looking at this, and I think I'm safe to say that we're not going to use this, but you know what, better safe than sorry. I'm just going to set it to the side. I'm not going to wrinkle it up and throw it out just yet. Now, I know these were all for Project 2, and you can see that they are all labeled on the back. That's why there was no label on the front. Okay, they always label everything. And so I was very surprised. So let's turn this one over. Okay, and lo and behold, this sheet is all for Project 3 or Layout 3. So we'll just quickly get this one done, and then we will start creating. I can just see by these waves, this is going to be a really fun layout to put together. You're going to be amazed at how simple the instructions are. Now, one thing that I did want to talk to you about was your optional technique. Close to My Heart always includes one of these in every scrapbook kit. And optional means just that. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't want to use it, that's okay. I am not going to use it. I am going to show you what the technique is, but I just don't want to have to worry about drying time. I just want to be able to keep moving here and keep going forward. So I will not be doing the technique. the optional technique for this kit. But again, like, even though Close to My Heart has done all of the hard work for you, you're free to change it up however you want. And there are a lot of very gifted consultants out there that do that on a regular basis. I always think to myself, well, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Yeah, that's sort of my ideal. Okay, one more to go. This wants to be a bit of a pain here. It's a very thin piece, so I'm being extra careful. Don't rip it. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's going to be a layered cloud. This is going to be very fun, I can tell already. Okay, so those are garbage. I know that. Okay, and again, I'm just going to put this over to the side. And these are all for Project 3 or Layout 3, depending how you like to call it. Okay, and I'm going to set the sticker sheet to the side. Now I want to just talk to you about the optional technique. Now in this layout, the optional technique is embellishing with gloss spray. Right, so I just don't want to have to worry about spray time and covering everything up that's around here. I want us to focus more on the creation of the layouts. But there's nothing stopping you from using the gloss spray, and it tells you right down here on your additional materials needed that if you're going to use that optional technique, you will need a bottle of the white gloss spray. Alrighty. So now we're going to move right into layout 1. Okay, now first of all, you'll always see a preparation piece, which is right here. So if there's anything that needs to be done to the base pages or to other pieces in the layout, this is where it will come. All right, now this is talking about spraying the paper with gloss spray, so I'm just going to omit that first paragraph. And then I'm going to look down here at a note that says the 3 die cuts that make up the banner on this page are mislabeled on the die cut sheet as Project 3. Oh, okay. So now that we know that, we can look at Project 3 when we're looking for these pieces. So that's this right here. Okay, so first step, use prepared Sundance patterned paper for base page. So I'm going to grab all my stuff for layout 1, which is right here. And I'm just going to slide all of these off when I see I've got one piece of pattern paper that needs a zip strip cut off. Those sunglasses, so cute. So cute. So like I said, I'm not even looking at the measurement. I'm just making sure that I have a very small peek of the zip strip before I cut. And that way you get a nice clean cut. You don't get any of the paper on the zip strip, and you don't get any of the zip strip on the paper. Okay, so that away. Now, another tip for you is these little babies, sticky grids. So handy. I gotta tell you, I use them all the time when I'm creating layouts. I sometimes even use them when I'm creating cards. They're like a post-it note on steroids. Okay, now this paper is not directional, so it doesn't matter which direction we place it in, but down here in the bottom left-hand corner, I'm lining it up at 0, and then I'm making sure it's straight all the way up here and all the way down across here, and then I'm just rubbing it gently. Okay, and that sticks the paper on. It doesn't let go, but then it's easy to take off when you're ready for that to happen. Okay, so let me grab my instructions again. Okay, so attach 3 4x4 photos behind the large hexagon die cut as shown. Trim any parts of the photos that show in other hexagon openings. Okay, so we need the hexagon piece, and I need, because I don't have photos right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I don't know if you just heard our dog, but yeah. Okay, so I have these all facing the right way, and I'm going to make sure, okay, there's no, it looks the same both ways. So there's no difference. All right, I'm just going to make sure now that I've turned this, that this stays my top and down here is my bottom. Okay, and I'm going to take my first photo placeholder. Okay, and I'm going to put my adhesive on the overlay rather than on the photo, because I have a better idea of where the glue needs to go on the overlay. Okay, and then I'm just going to make sure that I have it attached, and then I'm going to pick it up and have a look. Okay, and that looks pretty good. It's nice and close. I'm going to grab my scissors. You can see right here how that piece is hanging into the next one. And I'm just going to trim that off. Okay, and that's how it looks from the back. And now I'm going to grab the next one. And I'm not overly worried about adhesive because we know that this is going into a sleeve, right? So it's not going to get a lot of hands on it. Okay, and do I like the placement of that? Yes, I do. It looks pretty good. So we're just going to get rid of this piece right here. Okay, looking good. Making sure I have it facing the right way. Coming down to the center. It's just a very little bit of space there. So we don't have much room. I'm going to put it right to the edge, but not over at all. Okay, and let's have a look at that. I'd like to move it over a little bit more, but I can't because that's all the space we have. So you may have to adjust your photo. Now I want to make sure that I'm only cutting off just enough so that it doesn't show in the next hexagon. Not so much that we see spaces. All right, so next is this one over here. Skinny piece. Sure I've got that going the right way. I'm just sort of eyeballing it to get it centered top and bottom. I'm sliding it over to the edge, but not going over the edge. Oh, and I don't think I did that high enough. Nope, I didn't. I didn't. Do over. Let's not rip the paper, woman. Okay, let's try that again. I must have moved somehow. Okay, much better. All right, we're getting there. There really is no efficient, orderly, neat and tidy way to do this type of a layout. You just gotta go with the flow. Take it one step at a time, and then you'll find out it turns out great. Okay, so centered. That. Oh, that looks good. And I don't have to worry about that one showing anywhere. And this one, that one's centered. And oops, just want to centered this way as well, as much as I can anyways. Okay, and then up, centered this way. Very good. How does that look? Okay, I am happy. I'm very happy. So we trimmed all the parts we didn't need, and now we're going to add our adhesive on the whole thing. Okay, I have a tendency to put my adhesive on two sides only. Every once in a while I'll do an extra one in the middle if I think it needs it. I don't think this one needs it. Okay, and now, whoops, I'm going to look down on this picture here because this is the one that shows us dimension. So we can see here that this overlay is placed a ½ inch from the left side and a ½ inch from the top. And that is where our Versamat and sticky grid comes in. Okay, so I'm going to look down here. You can look up here if you want, and I'm going to measure a ½ inch across. And I think I'm going to try and bring this into close up a little bit. Just hang on here, let me move some stuff out of the way, because this is kind of important. And once you get the hang of doing this, oh my gosh, it makes things so much easier. There. Okay, so now I'm looking for ½ inch from the left edge and a ½ inch from the top. Okay, and so that's also a ½ inch from the bottom because it's centered. And I'm looking here, and I'm also looking up at the top to make sure that they both come at a ½ inch. So you can see right here that it's looking right at the ½ inch. Now I'm just going to gently let it down. I'm not going to push on the glue at all until I can make sure that I've got this lined up the way I want it to be lined up. Okay, and I need to just iron out one little wrinkle there. Okay, and you can maneuver these things a little bit so long as you don't press the glue down too hard and you do it right away. Okay, I just got that just a tiny bit off. So I am going to fix that. Okay, see, it happens, right? I'm just trying to not do too much damage. Easier said than done, right? Okay, there we go. Now you'll notice my base is still sticking nicely. All right. Next, embellish with stickers and additional die cuts. Tip, attach a few of these pieces with 3D foam tape for added dimension. Then embellish, with rubber shapes and add journaling. Okay, so now I'm going to go back up to this picture because this one I can see more clearly. Okay, and I can see, well, isn't that interesting? I never noticed that. See, I didn't look at the picture closely enough to see that these do not have pictures behind them, these three. I only should have put pictures for these three, but we're just not going to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead as if there were no pictures there. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my surfboards. There's a green striped one and a pink and red striped one. I also want the sand castle. I want the sun, which I did use already, so I can't use that again. Although I wish I could, but can't. So I want the van, if he'll just let go of me for a second. Okay, so now you notice that I put these on the directions upside down because I don't want them to stick to anything. And I'm pushing my Versamat a little out of the way so that I have my craft mat. And I'm going to, oh my gosh, these are so sticky. They're just sticking to each other, sticking to me. I don't know. Okay, and now I'm just going to tap these all over to get rid of the adhesive. Now, the thing is it may not be completely adhesive free, but it's enough so that you can add another piece of adhesive, like foam tape or whatever on there, glue dots. Okay, so that's that one done. And you can also use your embossing buddy, you know, the little pouch, or I've also seen with brushes on the end, little handle or containers, not like this, but longer and skinnier. And those work also. Just I'm in love with this one, which I do carry in my store, by the way. You can find them on my website, surescrapsalot.com. Okay, and here is our sandcastle. But it's very quick, and it's so much easier to deal with these if there's no sticky on the back. Okay, so I also want, and I'm definitely going to pop this one up, so I need to take the sticky off of it. Sun and fun. Okay. So sticky, which is a good thing, right? If you're going to use them as a sticker, then it's great because they stick very well. But if you want to do something a little different or do some layering, add some foam tape, yeah, the adhesive kind of gets in the way. Just saying. All right, I've got a little bit of a background piece there. Okay, so I think that's it for stickers. All right, and now I need some of these. Okay, I want this one. It's the only one, I guess, for this page. Okay, and I know I'm not using this now, so that's going away. And then we know that there was a mistake in the labeling, and we need to grab the banner from layout 3, which is this piece and this piece and that piece. Okay, so I'm just going to put those to the side for a minute. Don't need that yet. All right, this back into view and grab my foam tape, my little scissors. All right, so I want this baby to be front and center, to be the focal point for this layout. So that means I'm going to use the thicker foam tape. All right, remember I talked about this at the beginning? So these are the same width. The only difference is how thick they are. I'm not one of those that likes to go crazy with my foam tape. Okay, these are, after all, just going behind page protectors. It's not like it's going to be an interactive piece or anything like that. So I'm just putting some foam tape where I think it'll do the most good to help this pop up off the page and be our focal point. That really bugs me that I never noticed about those pictures, that they weren't there. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. Am I ready? So you see how much easier it is to deal with these pieces when you have the adhesive taken off. Okay, so now this one looks like it's just centered on the center piece. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just centering the U because it's the middle letter on this center frame, and then the same thing down here. sure those are stuck. Okay, and then we want, okay, so now this is a very good example of how I'm going to use both my regular foam tape and my thin foam tape. So I want this surfboard to go behind this surfboard. So I'm going to use my narrow, not narrow, my thin foam tape, not narrow, sorry, on the board that's going to go towards the back. And then I'm going to use my thick or my regular foam tape on the surfboard that goes to the front. Oops. And now I'm just going to place these like this. And we're going to imagine that we have Sundance right there. Okay, and then this one's going to go this way on top. Okay, and then our sand castle. Okay, so we want this one to pop out the most, a little bit more than all the other ones. So I'm going to use a piece of thin foam tape on the back of the sand castle as well. Just one in the middle is all it needs. Okay, and that one is going to go right there. And then we want to grab, lost track of what I did with those rubber shapes. Sorry. I know they're here somewhere. There they are. Grab these. Okay, and you can see that we have some of the rubber shapes right here, the stars, and we've got a pair of the flip-flops and a beach ball down here for that one. So I'll just grab the two blue stars first, and they're going to go right there, right there. Very good. Okay, now, and I've got this the wrong way. Wow, I'm really batting 1,000 today, aren't I? Okay, now that I, your know-it-all teacher didn't know it all, because it's supposed to actually be this way. Okay, but the whole point of you watching today is to see how easy it is to put these layouts together. So I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put this together just the way it is. Okay, so we're going to put this circle, or this, whatchamacallit, hexagon. Okay, now I'm going to forget what I'm doing here, right there. Okay, and now for this one, I'm going to use my thicker foam tape. I'm going to put one on the end, one on the end, and then one on the middle. And the reason I'm adding one in the middle is because the die cut pieces are not quite as heavy as our pattern paper and cardstock. And I want to make sure that it stays raised even in the middle. And I'm just taking a moment to cut off just a couple of these tabbies. Okay, the little places where they were attached to the die sheet, just because I'm like that. Okay, and then this is going to go here, but like this. Okay, and then these two, let's get rid of a few of these little knobbies. I don't know what you call them, but I call them annoying. So most of the time I take them off. Sometimes I don't feel the need to because you can't see them as much. Okay, and then this one's going to get one of the thin foam pieces right in the middle at the back. Same with this one. So if you're watching and you saw the mistake that I made before I even knew it, Kudos to you. I bet it was driving you nuts that you couldn't say anything to me. Stop. What are you doing? You're doing that wrong. Okay, now you notice that I'm attaching these pieces in the back first. Okay, and then once I have those in place, then I can go ahead and add this. Okay, you see how easy that was? And look how beautiful it looks when it's finished. I just want to show you close up. Can you tell that was 3 pieces? No, it looks awesome. Okay. All right, and now, oh, this. Okay, so I'm going to use some thin foam tape here because there's nothing else around it, especially since I use the sun. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Okay, and then that's going to go right here. Okay, and now we need our rubber shapes again. And we want the blue flip-flops and one of our beach balls. And that is going to go right there, just like that. Okay, all done. And we're just going to move on from this debacle. Right? Okay, and you notice how easily the paper came off of that. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat the whole process down in the bottom corner, lining it up at 0 and 0, making sure it's straight all the way up and all the way across, rubbing it gently, and flip the page over. All right, so first of all, we're going to add 1A, 1B, and 1C, but we're not going to add adhesive along the bottom left corner and left edge and top left corner of 1B, so we can tuck some things behind that. All right, so that would be, you can see here, this is 1A, 1B, and 1C, which are the bluebird pieces. So we'll get those out. Okay, where are you? I know you're in here. So we're basically going to be putting them like this. Unfortunately, there's no way I'm going to get this one upside down or backwards. Okay, so this one, we know we do not want to put any glue or adhesive down in this lower left corner because we are going to put something behind it. So lower left corner is this one, so nothing here. Not sure I'm reminding myself of that. All right, and if we look at our measurement, we can see it's 1.5 inches from the bottom and 1.5 inches from the left side. This is where our Versamat comes in again. So 1.5 inches from the bottom and 1.5 inches from the left side puts us right here. And you notice I'm holding the whole thing up off of the glue so that I don't stick it down until I have it where I want it. Okay, there we go. And then this one, we are not going to put any adhesive in the top left corner. So that's this corner right here. Because we're going to be tucking something behind that one too. Okay, and our instructions tell us that we want a very small margin here, only 1/8 of an inch, and the outer edges are aligned. So there is about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, there we go. And this one does not have anything behind it. So we can glue away. And this one is going to be 1 3/4 inches from the top and 1¼ inches from the right hand side. Okay, so now this is what I do if I'm working at the top, because I don't want to get my head in the shot. I also want to be able to see better. So I just turn this upside down. Now I know I want it to be 1¼ inches from this side. So I'm going to move it over to there. And then I know I want it to be 1¾ inches from the top. So I'm just going to keep moving that down, 1¾ And you notice I'm holding it up off of the base page until I'm pretty sure I've got it right where I want it before I let it down and smooth the adhesive. Okay, and then I'm going to move it right back so that I don't forget I had it upside down. All right, so now we're going to attach 1D, 1E, and 1F, which are the mats in Capri. And this will be very simple. So all we're doing is centering them. Easy stuff. If you like this video, if you had a good laugh on the other page with my mistakes, please share with your friends. Tell them about me, Valerie at Sure Scraps a Lot. All right, I love what I do. I love meeting new people. Okay, scrapbooking is the best, hands down. Okay, so this one's going to go that way, and then this one's going to go that way, and I don't need that one, I don't think. This piece is going to go up here. Okay. And then we are going to use this piece. You see, you never know. So this was the frame around this piece right here. So I'm turning it over and you can see the design. And we're actually going to put the paper behind this, just like that. Okay, so enter my liquid glue. I'm just hoping it works, because sometimes it's pretty stubborn. I'm not going to be stubborn today. At least something's working right. Okay, now again, I don't like inundate this thing with glue. I just give it a little bit. That's all it needs. And then good. Then I'm just going to grab my long scissors again. I'm just going to trim off the excess. So try not to get your frame. And cut that one very straight. And just a little bit hanging off the edge there. Right. Okay, and then this one's going to go. And let's try and get this right side up. It's going to go right here. And it looks like there's about 1/4 inch from the top and just a little less than that from the bottom. And again, I'm going to turn this because I can't tell if I'm straight unless I'm right above it. It's something that happens when you wear bifocals, I think. Okay, now grab this little pennant, banner, I'll call it. Okay, and I'm just going to put just a little dab of glue right on one end there. It doesn't have to have glue on the whole thing. Okay, and I'm just tucking that under. Then I want to try and make sure it's straight. And then I want those little words. Okay, and one more. Of course, there's going to be one missing. It says sand in the toes, or no, toes in the sand. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm turning this upside down again to make sure you see I didn't get that straight. But now it is because I was using liquid glue. Takes a moment to dry. Okay, so sand, toes in the sand. So toes is going to overlap the bottom of our banner just a little bit, and also the dark blue part of the mat. And then we've got next, I'm just going to move it over a bit because I put glue on that end. And sand. All right. That looks terrific. Now, while I'm up here, I'm going to grab the red sunglasses. I'm going to put those right here. And I see a couple of stickers. This little green polka dot arrow is going to go towards, point towards the center, just above the sunglasses. And one of the white sand dollars is going to go just tucked underneath the edge of the sunglasses. And then we have our tab, which got separated from its backing here. Where did you go? Okay, I don't know what happened to it. I know you're here somewhere. Didn't fall on the floor. Okay, I guess I'm not putting the tab on because I don't want to hold you up while I look for it. Okay, so now I can turn this around. And I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on this. We want the point to be just a little bit underneath the edge of the bluebird photo mat here. And then this is going to go right over top. Okay, and I'm not using any pop dots yet. I may for the next one, I'm not sure. It just depends on how thick this little cluster is going to be. Okay, and now we need this. And we need, okay, now I'm really in trouble because I don't know where the rest of that went. Okay, everything was here. Okay, until it wasn't. Sorry. Okay, just hang on. Okay, I found them. All right, don't ask me. But I always look on the floor first. Okay, so there's my tab that's going to go up there. Here's my hexagon frame. So we're just going to do exactly what we did with this one up here. Just lining it up at the top because it's the same size, top and bottom, or this way vertically, more or less. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my long scissors. Anytime I need to make nice straight cuts, I always look to my long blade scissors. They're much more reliable than your fussy cut scissors. And the main reason is because with your fussy cut scissors, because they're so short in the blade here, like I have to cut, lift, move, cut, lift, move, cut all the way. And you're standing a chance of having a jagged edge. But with your long blade scissors, that doesn't happen because it's just one cut. Okay, and then this one is going to go like that. And I think I am going to use my thin foam tape. So just as a side note, this foam tape, the regular and thin, also comes as foam dots, which are easy to use as well. The reason I like the foam tape is because then I have control over how much. All right, because sometimes you want more and sometimes less, and yeah, so and sometimes you need a long piece. Just depends what you're doing. So I just like to have that choice. Okay, this lined up. Okay, now we are going to grab a few stickers. We want to make a splash. Okay, and I'm not going to stick it down. I'm just going to leave the outer part of it sticking out, just because I really like that effect. And then I'm adding my happy place. And finally, I'm adding just chillin'. Now I put these in a straight line just because that's who I am. If you don't want to put them in a straight line, you don't have to put them in a straight line. And now I'm going to add my red flip-flops. And I'm adding a blue star down here. Okay, and then you're going to add your journaling right here. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that right now. And I think there was another piece in the 3 pile. I was right. This one. Okay, so this one is labeled, oh, so it was on the project 3 sheet, but it was still labeled project 1. And that is just going to come right down here. Try and get it straight. All right, and just to double check to make sure I've got everything. Oh, no, I need to add this. And the tabbies on this really show up. You could also ink these. You can sand them, distress them a little, but I prefer just to snip them off. Okay, and this is just coming up and meeting the edge of this. Okay. Oops, oh, see, I forgot I had this upside down. Promise me you're not going to never watch me again. I truly am a very talented artist. Truly, believe me. Okay, that's it. So layout 1 is done. Okay, we got the left page, right page. Okay, we're just going to forget about the left page. And we're going to move right on layout 2. I'll move all of this stuff out of the way here. So hopefully I don't lose any more pieces. Okay, and turn our instructions over. So now we're going to use the Capri cardstock for the base page. So I'm just going to do the same thing again, lining this up at 0 and 0. Make sure my edges are straight. All right, and then we're going to use one of our beautiful, beautiful sunbeam pages, and we're going to center that. on the capri. Okay, so what we want this time is 1/4 of an inch. So I'm looking down at the very bottom here, 1/4 of an inch from the left, 1/4 of an inch from the right, and then I'm moving my eye up here to make sure that this corner is also pointing to 1/4 and 1/4. Okay, and I like that. And now I'm looking over here, same thing. So I'm pretty confident this is centered. Okay, so now we're going to attach the die cut strips as shown. So grab them all here. Okay, and the first one is going to be blue stripes. And then, so that'll be for the right page. And then is the narrower up and down light blue stripe. And then is the colorful stripe. And then the Sundance stripe, or strip. Okay, and then comes the arrows. Okay, and I missed one. Okay, this goes right below the colorful stripe. So lots of stripes, lots of lines. That's very pretty. Okay, so we are going to start at the very bottom, and we are going to line up our first strip of stripes at along the bottom edge of our sunbeam paper. Okay, and it's cut to fit exactly. Okay, and I just noticed here that this tabby did not come off very well. Okay. All right, and I don't really think it matters which direction you've got your stripe going. I would just recommend that you have it going the same way on both pages. Okay, and then comes the skinny one. Some cords. The only thing about having all these strips at the bottom is it really covers up this really nice part. But that's the way she rolls. If you didn't want to do that, you could use it some other way. Maybe leave the stripes off. Do that, or maybe not have as many of them. But I hope you can see so far that even in spite of my mistakes on the left page of layout 1, that these layouts come together so quickly and look so beautiful, just so polished and just finished so nicely. No one would ever know, looking at them, that you put them together so quickly. Quite often what I do is I do all the cutting and the punching out of the die cuts and all of that stuff first. And then I'll come back later and then assemble them. Okay, so now we want this photo mat and one of the 3x3 photo mats. And I need to open these folders because these for sure have photos on them. Not like other times, right? I'm just going to attach these right now. Now with these photo placeholders, if you're using them because you don't have your photos yet, when you get your photos, you have some options. You don't need to just rip them off. You can leave them right where they are. And you're probably better off doing that So what you can do is just put your photo right over top. Okay, it just gives it a little bit more dimension. Okay, or you can trim your photos down just a tiny little bit so that it looks like they're double matted on Sundance and then white. And that looks very pretty as well. Okay, so this one we're going to do first. And it is going to be 2 inches. We're looking at the instructions, 2 inches from the left side of the sunbeam paper. Okay, not from the blue. What color was this again? Capri. 2 inches from the left side and 3 3/4 inches from the bottom. Okay, this right way around. So 2 inches. So now we know this is a 1/4 inch in. Okay, so 2 inches will be at 2 1/4 inches on our Versamat, and 3 3/4 from the bottom will actually be 4 inches. All right, and right there. Okay, and then we're going to add this photo. And that is going to be a 1/2 inch higher and 1/4 inch away from the first photo. So 1/2 inch higher, so is that 4? So at 4 1/2 and 1/4 inch away. Just like that. Now I'm going to grab my sticker sheet because I want the title Peach Day. Okay. Oh my gosh. See, sticky, sticky. Just making sure all the holes are cleared out. They are. Now I definitely want to take the sticky off the back of this. So I want to use foam tape to pop it up. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm dealing with a needy child. Won't let go. And I can say that because I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I used to be a grade 2 teacher. Okay. Now, is there any other things? Oh, yes. Welcome to summertime paradise. That while we're powdering. And you'll notice that I don't just pick this up and just pull. The shapes are so varied that you're going to definitely rip something if you take that approach. Okay, that's that one. And then we need a seashell. Now that one, I think we can just stick onto the page the way it is. And it's going to go this way. I know you can't see this, but you will in a moment. I just need to clean up my powder mess. I love these craft mats. Well, I love my Versamat too, but craft mats are great. All right. Just move that out of the way. Okay, so now let's get some foam tape happening, and I think I want to use my regular thickness of foam tape on my title. So now you can see here where on the parts of these letters that are quite thin, I can cut my foam tape accordingly. See, I've got a very thin piece here. So you don't see any of it sticking out, even though it's a thin spot. And then down at the bottom where there aren't any openings, I can use a bigger piece. Okay. this is going to go with the bottom of the Y, just slightly overlapping the photo mat. And I want to just turn this to make sure I'm getting it straight. Ooh, not bad. Okay, and while I'm here, I'm going to grab a pink starfish, and that's going to go just above the point of the B, and another blue rubber star beside the H, and oh, they've used red sunglasses again. Oh, I see. The sunglasses on this one were from what? The sticker sheet, which I don't have, and use those sunglasses. So let me just double check and see if we're using this other sunglasses. Can I use a different color? And they're going to use the green and the blue ones on this page, but I'm just going to use one so that I can add one here. And I want to use, I think, the green. I think that will stand out more here. Let's just go right there. Okay, and that's good for the top. And now I'm going to add some of the thinner foam tape here, because this one doesn't need to stand out quite as much. It's not the star of the show like the sentiment is. So we've done all the prepping, and we've done one complete layout and a half so far. Okay, now I just want to point out to you that I left the backing on this one here, and why I did that, but it also should be on this one. Okay, so I don't want any sticky open to the air on these two, just these two. And the reason why is because when I'm ready to put this down, those two that I left with the backing on are hanging over onto the picture. So when I get my picture, all I have to do is just lift these up, slide my picture in, then take this backing off and attach it. It's very simple. Okay, down here we want another beach ball, and we want a red star and one more blue star. Okay, page done. Oh, maybe not. We need one more arrow. Okay, and I'm going to stick this just right here so that it's not going to impede putting the photo there. Okay, now it's done. So let us move on to the right side. Grab my base page. And I guess I don't have to say this again to you now because you know the drill. And I'm going to turn this over. Okay, and it's just a repeat, at least this part is, of what we did on the left side. So adhesive down two sides for me anyways. How do you do it when you're putting adhesive on a big piece? Okay, I'm just lining up for 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch, awesome. Okay, and then I'm grabbing my strips. The first one is the stripes. Now remember I said, it didn't matter which direction you put the stripes, so long as they were going the same direction as your other page. So I'm just double checking to make sure that they are. All right. Now next is the skinny one. never fails to happen. Sorry, just hang on. Okay, I'm just going to put this one in place. It's not lining up very well here. That's better. Okay, and I'm going to refill my tape runner and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Seemed like just a blink of an eye to you, right? Okay. Starting this thing always is not a struggle, but weird. I don't know why these pieces feel like they don't want to line up against each other. So you will find a link below in the description for this kit if you're interested in seeing all of the details for it. Whether you want to buy or not doesn't matter. Okay, what happened here? Just stopped working. Pausing again, sorry. Okay, so I made sure that it was actually working before I pressed record again. I just wanted to make sure, because sometimes these, about one roll out of every box, which is a dozen, needs special handling. So, and this was the one. So of course. All right, so now that I have those all attached, we need our photo placeholders, and we want a 3x4 and a 3x4 and a 3x3 in the middle. All right, I'm just looking at this and seeing, okay, so they're not overlapping, they're just touching. And I'm going to start with the one on the right. And the measurements tell us that this corner is 3 inches from the top edge of the sun paper. So that's 3 inches is 9 1/4. And this corner is 3/8 of an inch from the beach edge of the sun paper. And so I got that a little low. And then this edge is only 1 inch. So I got that way too tilted. All right, that's better. Okay, and then this goes right in the middle. So, and it's going to be straight. And it just touches the top edge of the red chevron strip. And this one is going to pretty closely match this one. Okay, so I'm just going to mirror it. And then I need my photo placeholders. So I'm very excited. I just got word today that the new shimmer brushes that are going to be available for sale on August 1st are finally in stock. Oh man, that melon color is to die for. I hope you'll join me July 29th and or July 30th. This is 2022 as I walk you through this amazing new catalog. Okay, so now this one calls for the blue umbrella. I have used the blue umbrella, so I'm just going to double check and see if we need the red umbrella. And yeah, we do. So, okay, you're going to not get an umbrella. That's okay, we can deal with that. Just go with the flow. Okay, I can't use the ticket either, but I can use the red arrow. So I'm going to put that right at the top. And that's going to go with the red rubber star and these pink little guys. All right. And then, whoops, oh my gosh, it startled me. The weight, I have to have a weight on my stand because I actually use a camera, like a video camera, not my phone, and it'll fall over, and it just rolled off. So I came up with this. I just noticed this sticker, and it's the same color with the same color of text on it. So I'm going to use it in place of the ticket. And that is going to go right. It says, "Sun, here we come." Works for me. Alrighty, and then we want some flip-flops. Okay, and I'm just making sure it's not going to get in the way of adding our photo to this. And then we need some more of these cute little stars from the rubber sheet. Not the rubber sheet. Rubber stars from the carrier sheet. Your journaling is going to go right up here. And then we're going to add this. I'm going to add this piece first. Can't put that off too soon. So it's adhesive here. Okay, and this piece is going to go right about here. And then right over top of that is Catching Rays. It just slightly overlapped, and then this one, Just Add Water, is going to go just above that. So cute. All right, I think this page is done. Just double checking. Yes, it is. Moving on. All right, so here is our left page. And here is our right page. So pretty. Okay, on to our third and final layer. Okay, grab my pile of goodies. All right, we're going to use the red and white stripe, which I see now I did not take the zip strips off of. Don't forget to show me some love or laughs, depending. All right, I forgot about this. For some reason, on this side, the white is still showing on the top. So I forgot that I needed to trim it on the red and white striped side. It's not quite even on both sides. So there's another little tip for you. If you take the zip strips off the red and white stripe paper or the clover with the beach balls, take the zip strip off from the red and white striped side because it doesn't measure the same on this side as it does on this side. All right. So we want these stripes up and down. So touching that. Okay, attach 3A and 3B. Okay, So 3A and 3B. Now, does this one have an orientation that's better than others? I think this way, because this sentiment, which is right in the middle of the paper, is the right way around. Okay, so 3A, now we're going to start with 3B, I guess, is 1 inch from the top of the paper, or the top of the base page. So I'm going to just turn this around, make sure I have my beach life the right way around. And now I'm measuring to 1 inch here, keeping this edge even. And I haven't put the whole thing down, and I'm going to measure over here, make sure it's still going at 1 inch, because you can get astray with your measurements sometimes. And then our exclusive paper that looks so much like sun, jeepers, sand. Okay, and that is going directly below the first piece, so you don't see the red stripes. Okay, and then we want to attach photos which do not have little placeholders. So we have a 4x6 and 3x3 and another 3x3. Sorry, I knew it was here somewhere. So these are going to go like that. All right, and the big photo is 2 inches from the top of the paper. Let's see, oh, I guess we're going to start on this side. Okay, let me just double check here. It's not really giving us a measurement from here. So that's 1.5, and that's 3, that's 4.5, 5, 4 across is 9. So it's 3 inches from the left edge, 2 from the top. Turn this around again. Sometimes key pieces of information like that are just missing. So 3 inches from the left, 3 inches, and 2 inches from the top. That looks perfect. Just double checking. Just a little bit more. Make sure that that's straight. Okay, and then oh, I guess I shouldn't have turned that around. So we're going to start at the top with our first 3x3 photo, and it's going to line up with the edge of this paper, and it's going to be 1.5 inches from the right side of the paper. So 1.5 inches, and that's going on. Because we need 1/2 inch there, and that's exactly what we have. And these are going to be touching. So we're going to line up the sides and then have them butting up against each other. All right. Excellent. So now we're going to add our wave die cuts. This is very cool. Okay, so they are directional. Make sure we've got this matching. So that's going to go there. That's interesting. Let me just double check here. Well, I guess on the other page they go in the opposite direction of each other. All right. So this one This is going to overlap your photo. Okay, so and then this one's going to overlap that one. And then the sticker wave is going to be 1 inch from the bottom. So that's kind of awkward. Don't know why they don't give a measurement for something that's not sticky. Okay, so 1 inch just happens to be the edge of the exclusive paper. And I'm just trying not to push down on the waves part too much so that I can slide the next piece in behind. Okay, and this one goes down all the way. Okay, and it doesn't line up perfectly. It's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to center it. You could put it from one end to the other and then trim off one edge. Okay, and then this one last. And I think that if it had been marked, this one is centered. No, it's not. It's going right over the right-hand edge. Okay, that looks great. Very fun. Alrighty, so now we need the palm tree. Now, ordinarily, you could just stick this down, but you can see how it's going to overlap the photo just a bit. So I'm going to powder off the sticky, use foam dots, so I can leave that one corner free for putting in the photo later. And also the bucket, but we don't need to worry about the bucket because it's far away from the palm tree. No, from the picture. Let's clean this up first. If you're still here, thank you very much for sticking with me today. I'm just going to use the thin. There's no layering here. That piece was too big. Okay, so I'm only going to take off this piece and this piece. I'm going to leave that piece with the backing on it. And then I'm going to place this here. All right, and so that will facilitate putting your photo in here. And then we need this cute sticker. It's going to go right here, centered against that picture. And then we're going to add a couple more things here to the bottom. This one says like a fish. And what else we got here? Ah, this is where the clouds come in. So we're grabbing clouds. Put one over here. So remove that one. So in case you hadn't figured it out, this is like seeing it firsthand. Like I did not read the directions or prep anything ahead of time. Okay, this is exactly how it works. All right, so some things are very easy to interpret. Other things, you have to think about it a little bit, but still, like, all the heavy lifting is done for you. And now it's stuck again. Oops. Okay, I'm just attaching the top layer to the bottom layer. Oh, and I got the wrong one again. A little bit of liquid glue. And this one is going to go there. Oh, I see. It's going to go right at the top of the picture. So I'm just going to use some small or thin foam tape. Oh, not there. I think I'm getting tired. It's been a long day. And I'm not going to take the right one off. So add it right there. And this one is going to go right above it. I'm going to use my thicker, regular thickness. This one. That's that. And I'm not sure where the other ones are, but I'm sure they will show up here when I put the rest of the pieces on the other page. Okay, so now we need to go down to the bottom. I'm going to add that piece and shell. I'm going to actually add 2 shells because the suntan lotion is gone to the other project. So I'm going to put 2 shells there. I'm going to pop this up. Sometimes you just got to make it work, right? And the rubber shapes there. And then over here, we've got these little swirly thingies. Okay, maybe that's not on here. That's actually the background paper. Huh. Isn't that funny? Look like these. Back onto the sheet with you. Alrighty, so I think that page is done. Okay, so now we're on to our last page. Stripe. Going up and down again. Last page. Okay, so now we know we need these 2. That and that. This one is going to go 1 inch from the top. Just wanting to check this. I want each light to go the same way as it did on the other page. Okay, and then before I lay it down, just make sure I'm right at 1 inch, and I am. And then we've got our exclusive paper, our sandpaper. That kind of sounds funny, doesn't it? Sandpaper. Okay. got a big photo here. We've got a 5x7. Okay, and we need our waves and our journaling card and our tag. I'm not sure where the other clouds went. Okay, I'll have to look at that after we say goodbye. All right, so let's put this on first. And this is going to be, I'm just going to turn it to the side, 1/2 inch from the top edge of the towel paper. So a 1/2 inch, and 1 inch from the right edge. All right, there we go. Okie dokie. And then this journaling spot is going to go right beside it. And it's not giving any measurements for that. So I'm just going to eyeball it. Looks like about a 1/2 inch between. I'm happy with that. Doesn't look like there's a right or a wrong. Okay, and then this is going to go in here, just like that. That's cute. And it's overlapping the sandpaper. Whoops. Okay, and then we're going to use the red umbrella. That's going to go here. And we want our last pair of sunglasses. And that works with the hat and the pail. That's cute. I like that. Okay, and then we're going to grab this large beach ball and the sticker sheet. And that's going to go right, oh, sorry, I'm ahead of myself here. I haven't put my waves on yet. Okay, so now from the last, doing the last one. Okay, I just want to go back and check that. Okay, how far that is from the bottom of the paper. And it is 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to put a bead of adhesive down along the bottom edge of the blue wave. Okay, and it is going to supposedly run from side to side, but it's not. So I'm going to center it again. I want the top of the waves to be at 2.5 inches, just like that. And I'm going to grab my other wave sticker border, and that is going to follow the edge of our exclusive paper. Okay, I got that just a little bit high, but I think we'll be okay. And one bead of adhesive on that one, which is going to be okay, and that one is going to be facing the left. Straight. Okay. And now we can put our beach ball in here. It's going to go between these two. So right between the white graph paper wave and the blue wave. Then we're going to grab the, oh man, I forget what these are called now. you know, like the safety thing. I have no brain left here. I've been talking for too long now. And that is going to go also behind this wave. And then this is going to go in front of the wave. And then we want 2 red stars here and here. And all right, except for the clouds, which I have to find again because they're in this pile of paper somewhere. Okay, the clouds are going to go right here. That is it. This one is done too. All right, so let's have a look at this. Going back to, here's the left side. Here's the right side. Okay, so 3 2-page layouts. Now, one thing I want to say about these photo placeholders before I go, you don't have to follow what it says in the instructions. For instance, if you wanted to put 2 4x6 photos here, you could definitely do that. There's more than enough room here. All you would have to do is move your journaling spot over maybe an inch at the most. All right, and then you're good to go. So please don't think that this is written in stone. Okay, these are your kits, so you make them come out however you want them. All right, that is it. I am done. Please look in the description for a link to this kit. And thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. Please don't forget to like this video if you did. Leave me a comment if you have something to say or a question, and we'll be talking to you soon.